All right, so welcome back to. Oh, I guess Nala wants to do the intro. Shh. No. Welcome back to episode 5 of our podcast. We've been out for like 4 weeks. Been busy as hell. We're getting closer to meeting our little boy. We had a baby shower. We got sick. And then we got a bit lazy. But, yeah, we're finally back doing it for episode 5. And then we'll go ladies first again. Go ahead and kick us off.
So the first question we have is from the Reddit. Is it called a Reddit page?
Subreddit.
Subreddit? I was close.
Yeah.
Subreddit page.
The website was correct.
What is this for women? What is it?
r/askwomen.
r/askwomen. How much would you care if your partner had misogynistic friends? So
They'd be my best friends.
I feel like when I was younger, a lot of my opinions on this changed. But like when I was younger, my parents used to always tell me who you hang out with is who you end up being like or what you end up looking like, right? So if you're around a whole bunch of people who don't care about school, you're going to end up not caring about school. Like that type of mentality.
Yeah,
so I feel like this kind of connects with that. But as of course, when I was younger in like high school, I would think, no, you're wrong. Like I could be friends with people and like them for who they are and not turn into them. But when you're younger, you tend to want to fit in. And so, like, I noticed when I would hang out with different groups, I hung out with everybody in high school. Like, I didn't have a group. But when I would hang out with a specific group, I would tend to either, like, hold stuff back or say things especially because of whatever the circumstances were. And so when it came to, like, trying to belong, right, that was also a big thing in high school, like, making sure that you can, like, find a group and kind of be with people, right? So, with this being if your partner had misogynistic friends, now being an adult, I like, see some truth to the friends you hang out with or who you turn out to be. Because you do try to keep those friends around. And most of the time when you disagree with people or you don't have the same beliefs or feelings as some people, you don't tend to want to hang out with them again because you don't click. There are things that you don't connect on. A majority of the time when you're friends, you have things that you need to connect with, you need to click with, right? So you have friends that are, let's say you had a misogynistic friend, which you don't have any, but let's say you had a misogynistic friend and he was like back from high school and you kind of like were in that group, and then now that you're an adult, you kind of moved away from it, but he's still your friend. Like, I feel like that's a different circumstance than just being out, going to a bar, running into some people, realizing they're misogynistic and deciding to hang out with them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's totally different.
Yeah, that makes sense. You're actively choosing
you're choosing to be friends
with
with people like that instead of having people in your life already like that, whether they grew into that type of person or they always were and you grew out of it. But I feel like either way, it says a lot about a person if you hang out with people and the way that they act with those people, not just with you. So, like, if you're hanging out with me and you're not misogynistic, but then you hang out with somebody and they're misogynistic and it turns you into a misogynistic person, that says something about you.
Yeah.
But if they're misogynistic and you try to, like, the way you keep your friendship is by, like, either jokingly correcting them or kind of letting it go, thinking it's not a big deal, I feel like says a lot about your personality. Because there's people that you can have in your life, but when you don't stand up for what you believe in with those people, I feel like, in a sense, you're not being fake, but you're not being true to yourself and your beliefs if you're pretending like it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So it's not that I would be like, oh, you're friends with that guy. Like, it wouldn't be that kind of reaction. It would be more of like a, so I kind of see that he doesn't stand up for himself or his beliefs. And that's kind of a hard hitter. Like, that's like a, it's not like I'm just saying, oh, you're an asshole for being, oh, sorry. You're an asshole for being like with that guy friend, that misogynistic guy. Like, that's messed up. I wouldn't judge his friend because obviously his friend is who he is as a person. I didn't choose to be around that person, but I'm choosing you as my partner. So if I'm choosing you as my partner and you're choosing to go along with the misogyny, or you're choosing to ignore the misogyny and you think it's okay, that's when I would have a problem with it. Like, if he started treating me wrong,
Yeah.
that would be a problem. Like, if you didn't stand up for me, and that means that friendship would, it just wouldn't click.
Yeah.
Like you have to have people around you that you click with. So you can have different opinions and still click with people. Like, we have a lot of friends that have a lot of different opinions and beliefs than we do, but we're still friends with them regardless of that, because we found other ways to connect, whether it's our personalities, joking, doing favorite activities, going to favorite things, like favorite music, like other things make us click, but we still can respect others' opinions and beliefs. So
Yeah.
I think that's what's different, is misogyny isn't really a belief. It's
She's
more of
closing her
a,
book. That's what I'm laughing
yeah.
at.
Misogyny isn't really a belief. It's like a bad behavior that they adapted.
It's like an idea.
Like an idea, yeah. Like
I don't even know how to an ideal.
It's like racism or like things like that. Like,
I guess technically it is a belief.
It's
then,
not
but
racism, but it's like racism. The idea of that, like,
Yep.
it's wrong, so it shouldn't be okay.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Men can make sandwiches too.
Like that joke.
That was the point of the joke.
Yeah.
Hi, Nala. Yeah, I agree with you. I to give my man's take on this.
Mm-hmm.
It's it as a guy, you tend to link up a lot with people that are very like-minded. So I think it is kind of a big tell sometimes when, not all the time, obviously, because everyone's different, but you do tend to kind of tell how a person is based on their friends a lot. I feel like as a dude, or at least like that's how I've noticed it so far in my life as a dude. Like I feel like a lot of the times they do tend to share that kind of opinion. And I think a lot of the times in guy friend groups, they tend to not correct each other either. Like if there's one messed up guy in the group, because everything else is not messed up, they tend to ignore the messed up part. And I think that's sometimes what happens. Like, you're conditioned to kind of ignore the bad in people. So when you're in a relationship and all of a sudden you bring this friend over with you that's been your friend for years, and you've been so conditioned since you were younger to kind of ignore those behaviors, you don't notice them until someone puts you
On the spot
to notice them, you know? Yeah. And that's something that I think more people in general have to take into consideration. Like, I feel like us as humans, we're really good at being in a honeymoon stage for a lot of things, whether it be friends, relationships, a new car, you know? Like, there's different things that we tend to ignore for our own benefit. It's funny, you and me weren't like the popular kids in school, but we knew like a lot of people. Mm. So I think we kind of, me was because I moved around so much as a kid. Like, my parents moved around a lot, so I moved along with him.
Mm-hmm.
That I kind of learned to make friends like on the fly, kind of. So I think that taught me a lot about learning how to choose my friends. So I tended to pick up on those little kind of red flags within people that made me just keep them as surface level friends, or if even friends at all. So I feel like I'm a little bit better in this regard than most at detecting that kind of stuff. But I can definitely, I've been somewhat part of like groups of guys that you can just tell. And me personally, I would leave those group friends when I would notice something that I didn't like, but some people just don't because of the kind of camaraderie. I think I said camaraderie. There it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I also agree with you saying that, like, we have a lot of friends that have very differing opinions.
Yeah.
But they're still not, like, they're tolerable different opinions. Not like we have a friend that's racist and we're just like,
right,
that's what he wants to say, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like, we don't...
I meant more of, like, political or, you know.
I know.
Like,
and
religious.
The point that I'm coming to is, like, I think a lot of people don't have tolerance anymore, you know? And that could lead to blindness when it comes to this, because a lot of people nowadays, like, if they don't vibe with you 100%, if they don't eat at the same place you do, think the same thing you do, read the same book, watch the same movies, you don't talk to them. That, I feel, blinds people to maybe worse red flags that those friendships may have. Maybe that friend is a complete manipulator, but because he checks off all these boxes or she checks off all these boxes,
which, I mean, that's what manipulators do.
True.
They blend to you so that you feel like they're like you.
Yeah. But, like, they're checking off all these boxes and you fail to see that they, I don't know, steal from you or use you for...
abusive.
Yeah, or are abusive. It's different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that just being able to share in different views to a certain point is really good. Like, people need to be more tolerant. I feel like a lot of the times you see someone, specifically when you talk about politics and religion, like, if someone believes in something,
they think
they
you're
get
wrong in
they get attacked, you know, whether you're religious or not. Like, religious people attack non-religious people, and non-religious people attack religious people all the same, you know. But instead of being like, hey, you know what, I believe in this, you believe in that, I respect your beliefs, let's hang out and talk about this other thing that we like. We don't even have to touch on the subject. Mm-hmm. Or you can touch on the subject, but just respect it. There's no need for you to be like, that's wrong, you know? It might be wrong to you, but it's not wrong to them to a certain point.
And no one knows everything. So I feel like everyone has an opportunity to learn something. So you'll never learn if you never have other opinions around you that are different.
Exactly. You're
only going to think the same thing if you're surrounded by the same people.
That's also how you better yourself as a person.
Yeah.
You take in different ideas from different places and incorporate them into your own life.
Being cultured or having diversity in your life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you only have the same idea your whole life, you're kind of a clone.
Yeah.
Maybe a cool clone, but not necessarily a good clone.
Maybe not even cool. Okay, next.
Alright. Wait, you stole it. So, next question now comes from the r/ask men. How fair is the dating... Oh, a little earthquake there, Kazanala. How fair is the dating platitude? If he wanted to,
is it platitude?
He would. Perry the platypus? That's what I think when I hear platitude. I think it is platitude. While she looks that up, it just kind of gives some background. The phrase refers...
Platitude.
Platitude? The phrase refers to an idea that if a man is interested in a woman in the early stages of dating, he would show her and put... Oh, like he would show her and put the effort in to make the relationship work. If he doesn't, the woman should move on as if he wanted to, he would. I think it's mildly unfair. So kind of in the middle, leaning towards unfair. Reason being is because I think that it's not a one-way street. You can't expect the man to be the person to drive the relationship 100% of the time. Maybe in the olden days that might have been more of the case, but I feel like, I mean, and I guess it kind of depends on if you're that type of couple, like very traditional, that still might exist, but nowadays, like, I feel like everyone's more on an equal playing field. So I think everyone needs to try, like you can't expect just the man to do everything, and if they don't do everything, then the relationship's not only gonna work, Like I don't think that more traditional way of having a relationship was really the way to go regardless, even back in the day. Because it's just like you can't expect things to go well if only one person is trying. You know what I mean? Now, the reason why I think it's fair is because there does need to be effort, If the guy is just not trying at all, even though we suck at taking hints, we've seen this in the show before, even if the guy is not good at taking hints, he should still notice that something's being wanted or hinted at in a way. Like if the girl is saying,
Rico is smelling.
Rico's smelling the mic. In a way, if the girl's like saying, oh man, I would love to go see snow sometime, I've never been to the snow, that could be something that the guy should at least be attentive enough to notice and be like, hey, you know what? Let's make a plan. Let's set up a date to take a trip to freaking, I don't know, Colorado, wherever there's snow. You know what I mean? So I think there does have to be an effort, but if he wanted to, he would, I think, is very one-sided, and relationships aren't one-sided.
I think you're thinking of it as a very, effort-based question, when it could be looked at differently. So it says, if he wanted to, he would. So I feel like when you think of this question, you think of it as effort, yes. And of course, if your girlfriend is, not showing you your love language, but she's expecting you to show her love language, that I understand. But if you think of this question as if he's responding, right? So if I'm showing my love language to you, and it's acts of service, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the dishes for him so he doesn't have to tonight. I'm gonna give him a back rub if I'm noticing his back is hurting, or things like that. And I'm doing all these things, and then I not expect something in return, but I expect for you to treat me the same way I'm treating you. And he says, oh, I really want to, babe, but, I'll do it at another time. Or, I really want to, babe, it's just this, it's just that.
Making excuses
for a later time, always saying you're going to do it later, but never does. Yeah. I think that's where this question comes from, because it says if he wanted to, because he always says he wants to, but then does he actually do it? It's the words versus action. It's a man saying, I'm going to do something, and then never doing it.
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense.
You always say, not you, but, for example, if I tell you, oh, babe, this first Valentine's Day, I would love it if you, got me flowers, and you set up a date for us. And you said, okay, I'll do that next year, because this year I didn't know. And the next year you have Valentine's Day, and you do the exact same shit. And then I go, okay, well, you told me you would try harder this year, and you didn't.
Yeah.
So what happened? And you say, oh, money was tight, but I really want to, babe. I really want to treat you nice.
Mm-hmm.
if he really wanted to treat you nice, he would find some type of way to get it done. Regardless if it took money or no money. Like, he would write you a love letter. That's free. He would write you a song, regardless if he could sing. He would use his talents that were free to do whatever, something special. He would make the day special. Yeah. Instead of it being like, oh, had no money, couldn't do it, and putting no effort in to going past that point.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like if he wanted to do something, he would actually do it. That's what I think it's asking.
Yeah.
Not if she's putting in effort, then I'm going to put in effort.
No, that's
because you're right on that.
That's
part
not what
too.
I was saying. Is like it has to be equal effort wise. Like I'm not saying that it's like a tit for tat. Like oh, if she puts effort, I'll put effort. Both of you have to put effort. So it's
regardless.
Like this sentence, at least, maybe it's because I'm a dude, but at least like on my social medias and stuff, I see it being directly, specifically towards men not doing things for the women, you know? So...
And me, I see it as, like, a man saying he's going to do something and not doing it.
Yeah. In the ones that I'm seeing, it's, like, all the you know how the algorithms, like make it so that you see a certain side and not the other. They make it all the ones that I've seen make it seem like it's like there's no effort on the man's side of anything, you know. And
do you think both can be combined in a way?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not just about effort, and it's not just about if he said he would do it, because there are circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the key thing that you mentioned that is important here is like when you take those little things that she or he mentions and you actually use them. Like when...
But you actually do them.
Or pay attention to them. Like when she says, oh, I've never had chocolate, you're going to think, what? She's never had chocolate? I'm going to get her a chocolate bar because she's never had chocolate. Like, you're thinking of her in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Same with, like, women putting in effort. Like, if the woman hears you say, oh, I've never experienced biking in the desert.
Yeah.
Then you're going to be like, oh, well, sounds like he wanted to try it, so let me try to figure out how we can do this together.
Yeah.
So, like, yes, effort is included, but also, like, noticing the little things shows that he's actually paying attention to you.
And at the same time, if he says he's going to do something, he should do it.
Yeah. If he says, like, I'm going to try better next time, or date night. You say, I want date nights weekly, babe. I'm not even hinting at it. I tell you for a fact, I want date nights weekly.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. Instead of just saying okay as a man, I think this is where a big part of the controversy comes in. Because men don't communicate the same way men do. Men don't communicate the same way women do. So women go to detail what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. They think 10 steps ahead. Men do not think 10 steps ahead.
No.
They think simply put... This is what I mean, so just take it as what I said. Don't think deep into things. So, in this example...
We think at most 2 steps ahead because that's how far our legs take us.
Exactly. So, let's say for this example, I say, I'm not going to give you hints because I know for a fact you don't get hints. Like, it's hard for you to think in between the lines when it comes to hints because women's hints sometimes are not the best. Sometimes they are. You have to think 50 steps in one way to figure out what they actually mean. But for example, not you specifically, but let's say I told you for a fact, I want date nights every week. You're going to try to make me happy and say, yeah, babe, that sounds good. Now, that sounds good could be, okay, I'm going to make that. Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's try to do it once a week. And then let's say it gets too expensive or the schedules don't match up or things like that happen. You're not telling me, oh, let's try. And then if things come up, we should have that as a general rule that things do come up. Like, you're not saying, let's communicate all these details. You're just saying, yeah, sounds good. And in my mind as a woman, I'm thinking, well, he's going to make it happen no matter what.
Yeah.
But in your mind, you're thinking, she'll be understanding if money's tight. She'll be understanding if something comes up. But what you told me is totally different than what you're thinking. And I think that's where this comes in, where there's problems. Because they say if he really wanted to, he would. I feel like the man is just saying what the woman wants to hear, and he has a part of it that is true, that he believes, but he's not going into extensive detail like the woman is thinking of what his response was when it comes to stuff like that. Because like now my expectation is date night every week. What happens? Saturday rolls around. Oh, we didn't have date night. So now I'm pissed at you because you said we would have date night every week. But you didn't mention, my work schedule got changed up and I couldn't find the time. Or, I saw that you were stressed and so I figured planning out another thing would stress you out. Or, money got tight because we had to pay for this and so it was really hard for me to pull through on that one this week. I was expecting to do this already next week. But being a woman, I'm not thinking of those excuses. I'm thinking, you told me you would and you didn't.
Yeah.
So, I think that's where that confusion comes from. It's a matter of communication and understanding. When a guy just says yes and no blank statements like that, us as women have to ask every question in our head that you need to answer instead of answering it in my own head the way I want to hear it.
Yeah, we can't read each other's minds. So, like...
Don't assume that it's how you think.
Yeah.
You got to be blatant and honest and open about how you feel and what you want. Because if you don't, that's when that shit happens. Where you have that miscommunication of you're thinking one thing, I'm thinking another. Now I'm pissed. Now you're pissed. I'm pissed. Instead of just saying, I want date night every week because I want to spend time with you. And then you're like, oh, okay. I want to spend time with you too. That doesn't mean we have to go out to dinner and spend money. That just means I can set up a little cooking at home, little date night.
A little cheese tray.
Light some candles, put on our favorite movie, do some free shit that you would normally do. But it's the effort of, I want to spend time with you, babe.
Yeah, it's the effort of doing it.
Yeah. So if he wanted to, he would, but I think it's a matter of communication.
Yeah.
In every scenario. I don't think that blanket statement could be a yes or no.
Yeah.
Because it's like it depends on every situation.
It depends on the situation.
Because there are men out there who will say, yeah, I'm going to give you date night. And they 100% wholeheartedly are just saying that to shut you up.
Yes. And that's where the line comes in of like, if it's a repeat pattern.
And he's not paying attention to those little things.
And there are people that are just distracted. So like you tell them something and it goes in one ear out the other. So, like you said, communication is a big part. Make your intentions clear. Like, crystal clear, not just mentioning the same thing again. Like, actually sit down and be like, hey.
And I know women don't like to do that because they're like, well, if he didn't think of it himself, it's not true.
But we don't think the same way you do.
Exactly. You have to say it.
Yeah.
And that way, ladies, okay, if you say it word for word and you don't give out hints, he's got no more excuses.
That's
straight
true.
up. You say how you feel, what you say, and you say it clearly where their ears are open and listening to you. And you say exactly what you want. They can no longer say, well, you didn't tell me, because, I fucking did.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point
That's
of
true.
Communication is telling them, like, you can no longer blame me for my woman's thoughts of how I thought you heard it. Yeah. No, I told you exactly how I feel and what I want.
As guys, too, being clear, or, well, being descriptive, I should say, because it's very easy for a guy to say, like, yeah, I'll do it, but then that means something completely different.
Where, how much.
Exactly. It means something completely different to you than it does to me.
Yeah.
So being like, probably not this week, but 2 weeks I get paid, we'll do it then.
And I was thinking, not this week?
Yeah.
So it's knowing those
but now you
details.
know it's because I don't get paid until 2 weeks, but I will do it then, you know? So it's just being clear and concise.
Taking out the trash. I'm like, hey, babe, can you take out the trash? Now, instead, I'm going to say, hey, babe, can you take out the trash right now? Because it's on my mind. I can't get it out of my mind.
Yeah.
The trash stinks. I want the house not to stink.
Yeah,
Can you please take the trash out right now?
Mm-hmm. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. Yes, I can.
But,
instead of, can I take the trash out? And you saying yes, and me sitting there like,
and
why hasn't he gotten up to take out the trash?
I'll take it out in like 5 minutes.
And I'm sitting here not knowing that, and I'm just like, okay, he just listened to me and blatantly didn't do it.
Yeah. Now, if you're clear and concise about your feelings, and they still don't do it, if he wanted to, he would.
Yes. All right.
Next
Next.
Beat you to it. I read the last one.
All right. This is from what page?
r/dating advice.
r/dating advice. This is from you/baby_goddess21. What does it mean when people ask, "What do you bring to the table?" I've seen it browsing. I've seen it browsing around sometimes and even referenced in convos IRL. But I'm not entirely sure what the asker would be looking for. For example, someone financially stable job, pays own bills, own place, has own friends, has hobbies, etc. But is that bringing something to the table or just exhiberating?
Exhibiting.
Sorry.
Your dyslexia hit you hard on that one.
I don't even think exhiberating, is that even a word?
No.
Exhibiting
I think
stability.
You combine exhilarating with exhibiting.
Yeah. Stability. Would it be more mental or emotional? Like they're self-aware and emotionally intelligent, for example? Or are they simply asking, what can you do for me? Like, can you cook, clean, be my personal support system, etc.? Really just wondering, LOL.
You want to start or me start?
You can start.
I think it's a little bit of everything, honestly. I think for the most part, though, when people say that, is like, what are you contributing to this relationship, right? It kind of goes back to the last topic of like, what effort are you putting in to this relationship? I think that's the more common one. It can be like something physical, like he mentions or they mention. She mentions goddess. Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, what?
It's a trap.
It's a trap. It's a trap. Anyway, they
Sorry, I lost your train of thought.
Dude, my train just went out the window. Oh yeah, so like they could mean financially stable or something. Like for example, say that you're dating this, I don't know, rich person, right? And you're like a janitor. No shame in being a janitor, but like if they're expecting you to cover half of the bills, you know, you're not bringing much to the table, kind of a thing. And some people look for that. Some people want someone that shares in their same goals, and they want them to bring half of that to the table, you know? But I think in general it's just mainly like effort. Like, are you going to be working on this relationship as much as I am? Because that's important. If like the previous thing we looked over, if both people aren't putting an equal amount of effort into the relationship, it's just not going to work. One person's bound to get tired. And when they get tired, that's how things end if they're not fixed. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Mine is it depends on the person. So, it's as simple as that. There are people in this world that believe that the only thing that don't hit that, it's hitting the mic.
Oh, Sam. Whoops.
So, I think a lot of this is based off of personality. Like, there are men who are like, if the woman can't cook, I can't cook, so we're screwed. So if she can cook, if she's bringing that to the table...
It always burns.
Huh?
Yeah, the kitchen always burns here.
What are you trying to say?
What? No, nothing.
Watch your words there, bub.
That's why I bring a burnt plate to the table.
Yeah, you're the one bringing the burnt plate.
Yeah.
So,
hey.
Basically that's it. That it's based off personality. Because some men are like, I find cooking highly intelligible and sexy because it shows that you can take care of me and I can take care of you in other ways. I don't think it's all what could you do for me. I think it's more of like what your personal interests are and what you like and what you prefer. Because it could be emotional, could be physical. It depends on the person you are. For you, obviously, it's shown like based on how you answered the question, putting in effort into the relationship is a highly important thing to you. You want to make sure that what you're putting in, someone else is putting in too. Just like other podcasts I've mentioned, like, it's not a 50-50 way in a relationship. It's 100 and 100.
Yeah.
It's 110 and 110. Like, that's, I think, what your mindset is and what's important to you. For me, I'm such a high-wired person and such a stressed out and anxious person that when I know that you can do things for me in acts of service, that is what I look for at who could bring that to the table. Are you handy? Are you able to solve problems on your own? Are you able to provide for yourself and be responsible and self-reliant? Like, those are things that are important to me because of my own needs, that I know what I can do for myself. I'm looking for that. It's that nature, that natural instinct that you're looking for someone to fill the needs that you can't do yourself.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense too.
So, like, it's you're looking for that person to complete you.
Are you
Like
gonna be-
that old tale.
Are
like,
you gonna be a problem or are you gonna be a solution?
Exactly.
Kind of a thing? Yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So, like, it's not just about what can you do for me. It's about what can you do, and is it something that we can work on and help each other with.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking, man, she needs to cook because she needs to cook, that's different.
That takes us back to our first question.
Yeah. Or if you're thinking he needs to provide because he needs to provide, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, you're looking at someone as value in what they can do for you instead of working on it as a team.
You're looking for a waiter.
You're looking for a way out of your problems instead of solving your own problems, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
You should be looking at, I can be happy with myself and where I'm at and not rely on someone else to get things done. But that's, again, one of my personal things. I value self-reliance.
It's independent over here.
But that's something that someone else might not. Some people thrive. They love it when others take care of them.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
they love it when you can, like, do everything, pay for everything, plan everything. Like, they love that. They love being taken care
And that's
of.
what they're looking at their table for.
Exactly.
Someone that can bring that to them.
Exactly. And doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just other people's feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're looking for to complete their other half.
As long as both parties are happy, really, in this one. Like, what one person's bringing to the table is what the other person wanted at the table, and vice versa.
Exactly. And if that doesn't line up, if you're like, well, if you're saying I have to cook, I'm not about to learn a whole nother skill just to make you happy, unless you love that person or you realize this person is something I want to have, or this person is someone that I want to have in my life, then you could say, we can take cooking classes together. Or why don't we cook together and try to figure out what our strengths are in the kitchen. I know for us personally, you're good with stirring shit. And I'm good with putting shit in the pan. So, like, when we're cooking together.
I don't know if that was a diss or a metaphor.
Oh, no. It's because I forget to stir and I burn.
Yeah, that's true.
And you don't necessarily know what to add to a meal.
Hey, I know how to cook.
We know how to cook separately,
Pasta.
but we have strengths, right?
No, I get
And
it.
so
I get what you're
our
saying.
strengths are those things. Like, I know that this goes good with this, and this flavor goes good with this flavor. But I'll be so busy putting all this shit together that I'll forget about the thing burning in the back of the stove.
Yeah.
Whereas you're like, oh, that needs to be stirred.
Stirred.
So I feel like it's like, you complete each other with that, right?
No, that makes sense.
So,
and I think that's inevitably what you want to find. Something that completes you.
Yeah.
And putting effort to get that done.
Yep. Next.
A moment of silence for Mike. No. Alrighty, so the next one comes from r/relationship advice, posted by you/embarrassed cover. That's embarrassing. 776. Oh wait, I don't know what I was gonna read how long it's posted. I, female 18, very young, no longer feel excited about college because I don't want to lose my boyfriend. Male 18.
Don't read it so...
What?
Like, I, 18, don't want to lose my boyfriend.
Did I read it right? Like,
Yeah.
what? I'm sorry. I, female 18, no longer feel excited about college because I don't want to lose my boyfriend.
Keep going.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a high school senior who's been accepted at every college I applied to. Damn! Smarty pants over here. 2 are in the city I live in, and 2 are about 2 hours away. I've been with the same boy since freshman year, and I can't imagine my life without him. I also can't imagine my life without the support of my parents. I have no excitement when it comes to college. I just sit and cry. I don't know what to do. I know the easy way is just to stay here and stay with my boyfriend, but my gut tells me to go to the school 2 hours away. I just don't know what to do. I am at a loss.
Can I go first?
Yeah, you can go first.
Okay,
I went
so
first
just our little bit of background information. I went to college. He did not.
I didn't make it out of elementary school, man.
And barely passed high school.
Yeah, man.
So we have 2 different opinions as to the value of college and making that choice to go, right? Because you chose to go and then you chose to not finish. And I chose to go and I didn't want to and I stuck through it and I just did it. So, with this in mind, with that being our backgrounds, you keep hitting the microphone.
I know, it's just so tempting to play with the table. I need a fidget.
For your
spinner.
feet.
On my feet. Ooh.
Stop.
Fidget.
Stop.
Fidget pedals.
What do we have to say? That we trademarked it. That trademarked.
Oh yeah, TM.
TM. Foot fidget. Fidget.
That sounds very close.
That sounds very, yeah. That's not good. Never mind. No TM on that. Okay. Back to the question.
Okay.
So, no longer being excited about college. Okay. So, it's what you want. So, don't think of it as something that someone else wants. Me, as a person, my parents pushed college on me so hard. So much pressure to go. Only thinking that that's what I would have to have in order to make it in this world. And yes, college has helped me, but it has not been the only reason that's brought me to where I am. And there are benefits, and there are other things that don't make it beneficial. And so you have to weigh the pros and cons and figure out what you want as a person, not what someone else wants for you. So if your boyfriend's telling you, well, we won't be able to last being 2 hours away. If you cannot last being 2 hours away from each other, that's another story. You should be able to have a relationship and be 2 hours away. And or if you've been with this guy for 4 years, maybe it's time to find that responsibility, get a place together, and start living together and take that next step. If he's not ready or if you're not ready, then I feel like that relationship should go through this trial or this tribulation and be able to make it throughout the end. That might be a test to your relationship if you can make it and if you'll be responsible enough and you can take that next step maybe when you are ready. However, if college is something you just don't want to do because it's college, not because you're going to lose your boyfriend, but because it's college in and of itself, that is what tells you, yes, I want to go, or yes, or no, I do not want to go. If you're like, I really want to go to college for myself to learn more, to be educated, to have better opportunities in this world, you need to go with it. You need to do it. Regardless if it's the 2 hour one or the one in the city. But if it's because you're afraid of losing your boyfriend, not a good choice. Like, it has to be for yourself. 100%. Because that boyfriend's been with you for 4 years. That's amazing. Relationships break up after 10 years, after 15 years, after 20 years, after kids, after marriage. Like, relationships do not always last, regardless of how much you love them. You're only left with what you did for yourself. And I love you so much. And that's not a part of thinking of as like my independent self, my self-sufficient self. But like making a decision like this at such a young age, being 18 years old and making a decision based off a boy, I sound like a parent already, but thinking of it responsibly, Like, I always made decisions in my life based on what I would think others wanted me to do until I got older and kind of got that self-confidence that I could do what I wanted. But a lot of my choices were based off of what other people wanted me to do. And I regret a lot of those choices. When it comes to thinking of going to college, I was like, I'm going to go to college because if I don't, I'll never hear the end of it from my family, or I'll always think they don't think I'm good enough because I didn't get a degree, or things like that. I fought for this guy right here sitting next to me because he was what I wanted the first time I ever chose to do that. To stick up for myself, make a choice, stick to it, regardless of how people felt about me. And it was the best decision I ever made in my entire life. And I feel like that is where it's going to count the most. Is when you choose to do something because you want it in your heart, not because someone else is telling you to do it. So if you're like, college is for me and this is the college I want to go to, that's what you need to choose. And the boyfriend and you will stay together if it's meant to be. Because that situation, it needs to happen. That's up to you guys to figure out. And you will figure it out. But if the relationship was not meant to happen, girly, it was not strong enough in the first place. That's my opinion.
Yeah. So now from Mr. Too Cool for School, you'll hear a differing opinion. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But
we ended up with the same opinion and we went different routes. Pretty much.
Who, you and me?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I kind of grew up in a family like hers as well, where it was like you need to go to school. Like, college is kind of like a must because you'll get nowhere without it, right? And like now I'm balling, bro. No, but
making a podcast at 8:00 at night.
Hey, this
with
is
5 likes.
This is like a passion project, okay? No, but seriously, like, I agree with you. It's something that we've talked about when this little one comes. Is it's whatever you are actually doing for yourself. And funny enough, teachers said that at high school graduation. They're like, this was for your parents. Now what's next is for you. And we were like, yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah, right. We still have to do what our parents say.
Okay, you know?
We're still living under their roof.
Being 18 makes sense. That's how you feel.
Yeah.
But realistically, just do what you love. If college is it, say you want to be a doctor or lawyer, something that actually requires education, go for it. Because
when you're young, that's when you make the mistakes.
Yeah.
Not when you're 28, 29 years old and you're like, I have a mortgage that I need to pay. I have a child I need to support. Like, you have more responsibilities on your plate the older you get. So when you're this young, make the mistakes now. Like, that's what I say.
And then, like she mentioned, if college isn't the thing, then don't go. But definitely don't base it on your boyfriend's. 2 hours away for a school,
that's nothing.
It's nothing. If you live in California, which thankfully we don't, that's like a commute to work.
Yeah.
So that's nothing. People do that to get drunk.
Yeah. They do, yeah.
They drive that far to get drunk.
Yeah.
So it's like...
to go to a fancy restaurant.
Yeah.
To go to a city that has this cool thing that they
like
saw.
the distance...
Go to a museum.
Isn't that bad. If college is really your thing and you think that school's way better than all your other options in the city, do it. Just like if the relationship was built to last and you guys, maybe not built to last, but if you guys actually work at it and try to make it last, then that'll kind of solve your problems there. Now, if it was like out of state or your boyfriend was like going to a way different school, that might be a little bit different. Long distance is hard to keep. There's a saying in Spanish where you say, and I think there's a song too, but it's like, with long distance, the four of you are happy, essentially, translated. So it is hard to keep very long distance, but 2 hours away shouldn't be a problem.
Or find out a different way. Be responsible enough or self-sufficient enough to move together somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
And so it's like only an hour commute, or do something like that where it's a give and a take.
Yeah.
If he has his own life and you have your own life, like come up with a compromise to make it work. If that's not even existent, if he's saying no, it's either here or nothing. It's not for you, girlie.
Relationships don't work on ultimatums.
Yeah, that's not a good.
You can't if that's.
And you shouldn't be
problem,
crying
you can't
about
do
it either. Like it. I mean, you could feel those emotions and be sad, but at the end of the day, like, it's a choice you have to make. So, being a choice you have to make, you shouldn't cry about it. It's something that has to happen in your life, regardless of which route you take.
Yeah, do what makes you happy, and then you won't be crying. Because, and then like you said, figure out if it's the college that's making you less excited. Because I feel like college isn't what it's amped up to be. Like, I went to it, you went to it. I struggled to accept the fact that I didn't like it based on how I was raised, and I was able to find success without it. So it's not the end of the road. You don't have to follow the path set out to you by someone else.
Yeah.
Choose what makes you
happy. And that's the hardest decision to make.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes to making your choice for yourself, it's going to be the one that you have to fight the hardest for most of the time. They're not easy.
Yeah.
When you have to make that choice yourself, it is the hardest thing you have to fight for, and that's what makes you, how that makes you feel is how you know that it is your choice.
Yeah.
I had so much passion and power. I felt so powerful in my choice to stay with you and to be with you. Period. Like, I felt like I had so much strength because I knew how much I believed in us. And that's when, like, that is something that you get when you know you truly believe in something.
Yeah.
If it's like a feeling of like, I don't know about this guy, but I think he's what I want. It's not the right choice because you're just doing it because of some other reason.
Yeah.
But when you have that power and that gut feeling of like, this is what I want, you know that's what you need to fight for.
Yeah. Definitely. And you're still young. You have time. Like,
we sound like we're 40.
I know, but even
we're like, they're so young.
Young whippersnapper. Even then, like,
we're not even 10 years apart.
Oh, damn.
I know.
Why does my back hurt so much? Holy cow.
We sound like we're 10 years apart, but we're not even 10 years apart.
Yeah, even... Yeah. But, like what I would say is, like, you're still young. Whether, like, you have plenty of time to find what makes you happy as well. You don't have to decide now. You can just ebb and flow. Like you said, make all the mistakes right now that you have time ahead of you.
One thing I will say, though, without a doubt that I've learned that I've never heard of a scenario that this hasn't happened. If you go to college, you decide to take a year off. Every single time I've heard, I'm just taking a year off, I'm going to go back. They've never gone back. Or they went back and then they left again. Like,
I've met people that have gone back.
You've heard people that have gone back after 20 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, after 20 years.
My French teacher.
Right. After 20 years when they figure out what they want. But I'm talking about, I'm just going to take a year off to catch up on this.
Well, no, yes.
Like, most of the time, it's more than a year. Okay?
That's what my next thought was going to go towards, is you have so much time to find out what you're actually passionate about, that if you decided not to go to college, you can go back, you know? Like, for example, her degree, nothing to do with what she does now, you know? And...
that's most the case.
That's
unless you're a doctor or a therapist or an educator.
But now, like, if you could go back, you would go
for that
purpose, you know? So
100%. I have to go back for that purpose.
Actually, yeah, you do.
And I get a master's degree. Yeah. I should have just figured out what I wanted beforehand, but I couldn't.
And that's kind of the route I took, and then it turned out that I didn't need school, so I was like, okay.
But if you had school, you would be further.
No. There's a bunch of people that are
you mentioned in your position that they've been promoted faster because of their...
No, that's just the one freaking test that they had, but that's not a college thing.
Mm.
That I could take on my own. But I'm not...
Definitely depends on what you're doing.
I'm not going that route anymore. But, like, literally, like, I have coworkers that are college. I have a coworker that has a master's and is doing the same thing that I do.
Yeah.
And it's
No, it's not about that. It's about the position, like getting actually hired for a position.
No, but that's what I mean.
Without knowing someone.
What? Well, yeah, there's some...
Okay, we're going way off topic. We're not going to get off topic.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, that's it. Next.
Okay, so the last one comes from r/would you rather. Would you rather cheat or be cheated on? I personally think that this isn't that hard of a question.
Well, I don't know which way you're leaning towards.
Really?
What would you say? Okay, well, let's say it on 3 at the same time.
Okay.
So when we say 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, we should add that. We should do that all the time.
That's
a good idea.
Ooh, what are we gonna say?
Ooh.
Okay. So on 3. So 1, 2, 3, and we say it.
It smells like dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is. Okay. On 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we say it.
Okay.
And we say just the word. Like, we either say
cheat or cheated
on.
Okay.
Cheated on.
Okay.
Or cheat.
Okay.
Okay. Wait, hold on. Okay. Ready? Ready?
Yeah.
3. Wait, I did it wrong already. Wait, is it 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3?
You said 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Play it back.
I forgot. Pregnancy brain. It's real. Okay. Okay.
Look it up. It is.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Cheated on.
Okay.
See? You
Okay.
thought I was gonna say cheat?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know.
Bruh, you know I've
Maybe.
been cheated on.
Yeah. Oh, Nala's like cheat.
I hate... Oh, you would cheat on Rico?
She's like, you both are wrong. You would rather cheat?
You would rather cheat,
You want to
huh?
avoid that heartbreak, Nala?
Yeah. It goes and bites him. See what you made me say.
Okay, I guess it's not that hard, but like,
Yeah, see?
so for me, I would say cheated on because I don't want to cause someone the hurt that I would feel.
Okay, so why did you think that I would?
No, I don't know, because it could go both ways. Like, if you've been hurt that bad, you could want to avoid that hurt at all costs. You could be like, okay, I'd rather cheat than be cheated on. But I think because of the scenario that we're in, that we love each other and that we're in this relationship,
Get at that ass.
we would rather...
Gotten at that.
Yeah, we would rather deal with the pain because we don't want to cause each other misery.
Yeah.
But imagine if we were with other people or
Yeah,
like
you
someone else, like a girlfriend of 2 weeks. Would you rather cheat or be cheated on?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
It changes your perspective.
I think still cheated on. So, I don't know. I've been cheated on in the past.
And it hurts like a mofo.
Cue the...
What is it? We need to look it
I
up.
don't know.
My phone fell.
I know, it's fine. I'll pick it up right now. But...
it's gonna bother me.
Anyway.
Fuck. That's a fucking siren.
Anyway, so I've been cheated on before, so I know how it feels. I wouldn't want to do that to someone.
Right.
Regardless of if it's a 2-week relationship, I'm always of the mindset of if you're not, if like you're interested in someone else like that, just break it off. It's not that hard.
I know. Cheating is so stupid.
You're gonna deal with so much more shit if you cheat on someone than if you just broke it up. And at the very least, you'll deal with the same amount of shit. The same amount of shit. My accent came out.
That also took me a minute to process because I was missing out too. So I'm like, cheat shit? What?
You'll end up with
Put the little
less or equal amount of shit.
Yeah.
By just breaking it off, you know? You'll hurt them either way, maybe, if they don't see it coming, right? But I feel like there's a higher chance that you won't hurt them, or at least it'll be an understandable breakup. If you just break up, you know, you sit down and be like, hey, you know what? This isn't working out. Sorry. then like, oh, sorry, I kind of did someone else.
Too late.
Too late, you know. Plus, you never want to burn some bridges. What if, like, I don't know, you think you're better with the other person, and in reality, you missed the gold mine.
Yeah.
And now you can go back and apologize.
Okay.
I don't know how that would go.
You're right. That is hard. I have a question.
Yeah, see? I like the idea, though, of, like...
It could be, depending
calling
on your
it at the same
morals. If you've been a cheater before, you could be like, cheat, because I don't want to get hurt.
True, but then you're just a piece of shit, so...
True.
No one cares about you. No, I'm kidding. That does it for our our episode 5.
Our love.
I went through puberty again. But you can if you liked it, you know what to do.
Again with the Eeyore, man.
If you like it, you know what to do.
If you like it, do what you want.
If you liked it, go ahead and leave us a comment. Maybe ask us your own questions on there.
We'd love to answer your own questions. They're probably a lot more interesting than us reading off Reddit like every other podcast.
Exactly. So
we want to be personal.
Leave a comment. Leave us a like. You can follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify if you prefer listening in. And then you can also see some extra content and stuff on TikTok and Instagram. So, don't forget to give us some sugar.
And stay salty.